I would like to thank Torah Anytime for allowing the shir to reach the public. The shir is Ilan Nishmas Mordechai Ben Daniel. Shalom Shav and Aliyah. Okay, so we were still Perek Gimel, it's a long Perek. Shar Cheshbon HaNefesh, we are dealing with the concept of analyzing. That's a Cheshbon HaNefesh, this idea of making calculations, being introspective, analytical about where we stand in so many different aspects of our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there are 30 in total. We were doing number 10, we're doing number 9, and hopefully, Bez Hashem, tonight we'll finish up 9 and maybe even do number 10. But in number 9, which is the 9th aspect of what our actions have to be, how we have to analyze different aspects of our avodas Hashem. In number 9, he spoke about the fact that our actions can be broken up into 3 different categories. Mitzvahs are either mitzvahs that are only in the heart, like loving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, believing in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, bitachon. These are things that are purely on an intellectual, emotional level. Then we have things that are both, that you have to physically do something and have your heart completely in it at the same time, and tefillah was a classic example. And we're wrapping that up. We're wrapping up tefillah. We're wrapping up this middle category. And he was talking about the fact that the obligation, the incredible schus to be able to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the credible aspect that these are words that the Chazal have given us to be able to reach out to Hashem in the most proper way, in the most humble way, in the way that exudes the most level of confidence that the way I'm approaching Hashem is proper. So he went through really a beautiful explanation of the aspect of tefillah and what we have to bring to bear, all of the purity and kavanah we have to bring to bear. So now he's wrapping that aspect up. So, Tein la'atzmecha, in my sefer, it's on Kuf Tzadi Ches in the Leif Tov. So Tein la'atzmecha dugma, he says. I'm sorry, one more paragraph earlier. Al kein achi. He says, therefore, my brother, he says, Sader es tochen tefillascha belibcha. Organize the essential qualities and essential parts of your tefillah in your heart. V'yasei es libcha makbil lidiburcha. Your heart, in a sense, should be the receptacle of your words. It should be the receptacle. It should be sort of in unison, that the heart and the words have to go together. And combine and merge both of these to one common goal. There's nothing that I'm thinking about, nothing that I'm focused upon, just HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Cease movement. Interesting. It seems to be like the contrast of sort of the emotional way. It is brought down the idea of kol atzmosa tamarna, the idea of sort of really moving and shuckling, and this whole idea of having your whole body involved in tefillah. It seems like he takes a different approach, and you do see the other approach are people who almost never move. They're just completely focused and they're standing still, and there's no shuckling and waving and shaking, and elu ve'elu, both are valid. He seems to be saying that you should be completely subdued, both obviously emotionally in terms of focusing on God, and physically in terms of not having your body move around in a number of different directions. Okay, we actually did this last time, but okay, it does not hurt to repeat it. And sort of gather all of your senses, control your senses and your thoughts from being involved in any other aspect in the world. When you are praying to Hashem, it's a very big challenge because we are constantly having things fly into our heads. We've got so many things going on. It is sort of one of the byproducts of the technological world where there's so much multitasking and multi-thinking and multifaceted involvements that we have, that for us to sort of completely disconnect from all of those activities and just focus on the fact that we're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's an incredible challenge, but one that clearly we have to do. And now he's going to sort of drive home that point in wrapping up category number 2 of the type of mitzvos that exist in the Torah. So he says, just give yourself an example. Just think about this. If you had this king that you were very indebted to, you loved him, you wanted to thank him and talk about, and basically sing his praises, mention all of the good things that he's done. Okay, Nachon shol yisa osik lo yisamahar oz ba'aftav achabiolam. If you're standing in front of that king, in front of that leader, okay, you're not going to sort of be distracted. You're going to be focused on one thing during that entire process, during that entire communication with that king, and that's going to be the king. You're standing in front of royalty. You're going to give royalty that it's due, and making sure that no other things are flying into your head and no other distractions. V'zos, and this is true lamrois. Considering Shamelech and Yodemash Misrachish B'Pnimiyoscha, the king doesn't know. King's flesh and blood. He's essentially like you. So yeah, he's royalty, and he's a very powerful person, and you got to give him the respect. But does the king know more than you know? Does the king know your insides? Could the king read your mind? Does the king know what's in your heart? No. The king knows what he sees. He doesn't know anything beyond the external aspect of who you are. So if that's the case of how much you're focused completely on this physical being in front of you, who you're meeting up with, as noble as he might be, but limited in his knowledge, so you're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all-knowing, all-powerful, every possible awareness that there is about your inner kishkis, knowing the essence through and through of who you are and what you believe and what you feel and what you're thinking. One more time is Hamistakel al chitzoniyuscha v'al pnimiyuscha. He's completely equally looking at your external as clearly as he's looking at your internal, or the other way around. And it's the same thing to him, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees everything clearly. Both on what's revealed and what's secret and what's unrevealed. It does not matter. Okay, the revealed world is the secret world, what you can't see physically to the naked eye, what you cannot see. To HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all one. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't see with eyes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all-knowing. So how much more so should we have that sense of awe and reverence when we stand in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And the truth of the matter is really, it's a wonderment when you think about it. How could you even think to conduct yourself any other way? And again, this is something that, again, we look around in shul, and do we see this? We all look in the mirror. We don't have to look other places, but we can all, in a sense, really sort of, bemoan the fact that how often we are in situations where there are conversations going on in shul. There is just sort of, a level of disconnect, a level of not understanding the kavod and the kedusha that we have to conduct ourselves with in the base knesses, in the base medrash. So it's almost shocking to how far we have come in terms of really understanding this type of appreciation, this type of cover that he's really demanding from us, and very logically. He says, how could you even think of conducting yourself any other way? What is tefillah? Tefillah is a special trust. Tefillah is a unique gift that Hakadosh Baruch Hu has given us, telling us that you have the ability 3 times a day to connect with me. I'm going to listen to you. Okay, based on Avram, based on Yitzchak, based on Yaakov, based on the concept that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us, tefillah, based on, we see everything in the Torah, how when things were rough, what did Klal Yisrael do? What did Moshe Rabbeinu do? What did Avram Avinu do? What did Yitzchak and Yaakov do? They always relied on tefillah. This is a special gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. It's a level of a sort of like a deposit, like a special mashkon, a pikadon that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us to watch. Sheri hu masar es tochnal yadcha, but also solar shuscha. He's put it in your hand, and he's put it and given it to you in your domain, and he's put it in your domain. V'af echad ein mistakel loso. No one is looking at this other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you're davening, forget about what anybody else is doing. They could be in the room, but no one's really looking and seeing what you're about. But for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, certainly if you're davening by yourself. And it's therefore abundantly clear. So if there's a special gift, if this is something that's almost sublime and supernatural in its ability to do what it's designed to do, tefillah is almost unthinkable. Who are we to talk to God? I mean, God is this power and this force that so goes beyond anything we can possibly comprehend. And yet he said, go ahead and pray to me. So this is a special trust that he's given us with special instructions. It comes with a manual. Okay, would you think to put on the most complicated supercomputer of the military, and as the general who's spent 50 years with a team of 1,000 people building this thing, and then he calls in the tech guy and let me tell you how to run this. No, it's okay. I can do it on my own. I know how to do it. You know how to do it. I mean, there's tremendous intricacy here. Don't tell me you know how to do it. So there's no question if HaKadosh Baruch Hu's given us this very special gift, he's also given us the rules as how this gift works and how this trust is manifest. He says, okay, one more time. Okay, it's only if we conduct ourselves and pray the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded us to do. That's how you will fulfill this trust and this obligation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has placed upon us. And that's the only way he's going to receive it from you. He's not going to receive it any other way. He's given us very specific directions. And it's only going to be reckoned and counted amongst those who conduct themselves with trustworthiness in a way that was deposited by them, was given to them based on its laws and its guidelines. As the Torah says about those guidelines, not the Torah, the Navi, Tehillim to be exact, David HaMelech, Einai ben Amonai Eretz Sheves Imadi, my eyes, together with those who are trusted on land, to sit with me. Those who walk straight, those who walk in a path of uprightness, those will serve me. But if you are going to not conduct yourself in that way, not being trustworthy, not fulfilling the guidelines that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set down for us, and sort of doing it your own way, here, flip flop, sometimes in, sometimes out. You're concentrating a little bit, then you're moving into something else, having another conversation. Well, then how are you going to be considered? Are you going to be of those who are trustworthy to be entrusted with tefillah, or are you going to lose that chus? You've in a sense rebelled against that trust. You have not kept that trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given over to us, the Jewish people. Shemer Aleim, as the Torah says about them, Kidor Tapuchos Hemo, Bodem Lo Emun Bam. They're a backwards generation. Children that are not acting the way they were raised. They're rebelling. They're going off on their own. They're not manifesting any trust. Rashi on this pasuk brings both pshatim, that it's not the way you were raised, and it's you're not acting in a manner that's trustworthy. So he's saying it makes sense that there's a very specific guideline as to how tefillah works, and if you don't do it the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, and clearly he wants concentration, he wants focus, he wants total commitment to one thing, and that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore it's clear that tefillah needs to be this sort of special laboratory for us to develop this relationship and for us to really try to really practice and develop and sort of perfect this idea of doing things with a complete heart, with total purity. This ends the second category of activities and mitzvos, namely those that both the physical and the mental sort of merge together, and they both have to be in sync. And finally, The last category, the kashin chumakai mitzvah tells alaguf bolvat. There are those mitzvahs that really essentially are physical in nature. Kiyom mitzvah sukkah, lulav, vayachas bishar mitzvah shizkarnu el hanachlolos b'chelik hazeh shel mitzvos. Like taking the lulav, like being in a sukkah, all physical things where obviously, as we'll see, you have to have thought, but it's not constantly thought. It's basically doing what you have to do and sort of beginning the mitzvah with thought, beginning the mitzvah with purity. But as you're going through the mitzvah, you're in the sukkah, you're having a meal, you're schmoozing, you're doing what people do in the sukkah. Teishu kein teduru. You're shaking the lulav, you're shaking the lulav. After that, you're pretty much done. Or tefillin, you put on your tefillin, and then you're involved in whatever you're involved with, whether it's davening, the tefillin don't take on the total focus of your essence at that time. So how do we relate to those mitzvos? You have to stop and reflect, and that's why you have in many sidurim the hineni muchan and mezuman, which again, you could say, or you can just think. You don't have to say it. It's nice if you say it, but again, if you say it and you don't think it, then you really haven't accomplished anything. And if you don't say it and don't think it, then you also haven't accomplished anything. So you have to, for sure, think it. Saying it is nice, but it's a thought at this point that really matters. And that is, before you do the mitzvah, you have to focus your heart in what you're about to be doing. The roots of what ultimately everything else is going to flow from. Your action should be for the sake of fulfilling the commandment of the Creator. L'gadloi, to make him great, to exalt him, Romo, to praise him, to elevate him, also to exalt, to make him great and to make him exalted. That's your focus. By doing this mitzvah, I'm bringing kedusha into the world, and by fulfilling the word of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's a Kiddush Hashem. It brings an exalted state to His name. Ulahodos, and to thank and to praise, Ulshabeach Lo, and to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Atovas HaGdos, V'Chasadim Harabim, on the tremendous goodness and the incredible kindnesses and the many kindnesses that He's done. First, Shu Osa Itzcha, that He's done with us, which He's talking to us with you, He says, referring to all of us. Okay, and in order for you to reach this level, that the mitzvah be done from all angles, from all its sides, V'tchilas asiyaso, at the beginning of its being done, be'amsa in the middle, u'v'sof and at the end, mitoch yir me'yokel, from a feeling of an awe and a trepidation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, u'mitoch tshuka lios arotz l'fanav, and from a desire that it should be accepted by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, l'srachik mikaso, okay, that He should like this, He should be happy with and accepting of what I'm doing, and to move Him very far away from any type of anger towards me. It's to do your will, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's what I want. And again, even though the word anger doesn't fully apply when we talk about charon after anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, these are all words that we have to use because we have no better way of describing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's midos, but on physical and human terms. But really, they're much way beyond that. They manifest themselves as if it's anger, but again, it's not true anger because again, anger is a physical trait that's limited to physical beings. But the point is that this is what we have to do. You have to, at the beginning, be able to think about why we're doing the mitzvah, and to sort of to have that flow, that kavana at the beginning, allow that everything else that flows from it should be with that same sense of focus on Kiddush Hashem, of exalting the stature of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every time we do a mitzvah, we are actually bringing incredible power to the world. The Mesilas Yesharim talks about this as well, that we literally change the world when we do a mitzvah. And if we don't do a mitzvah and we forsake our responsibilities, we're destroying the world in some measure. And that's the power that we have through our actions. So this is what we have to, by thinking and by stopping and by focusing, we can do these mitzvos with the right purity. And throughout the entire process of doing this mitzvah, this sukkah, the lulav, anything else that's physical nature, shofar, all these other mitzvahs that we have many of them. Throughout the length of the entire mitzvah, it should be in front of your eyes, hadugma, this vision, this imagery, as I mentioned at the beginning of what you have to do. So I mentioned at the beginning that how would you feel in front of a king who gave you a specific mission, a specific task? Would you not be completely focused and fixated on getting that done? And when you have that feeling, and that sense and that awe and that focus, you'll have a tremendous desire and alacrity and the concern to do it right. So that's really, again, it's so sad because again we're so busy, so to speak, and we sometimes have so little time to focus that again we run through the mitzvahs, we patter them off, we just do them, and there's so much incredible power if we just would slow things down and recognize what it is that I'm doing and how I can change the world by what I'm doing, and I can sort of bring more kedusha into the world. I can literally make a difference. Because Baruch Hu could be looking down and being maratza from what we're doing when we do mitzvahs. It would force us, it would compel us to infuse it with a whole different sense of excitement. And again, if we had these feelings, it's so so frustrating because if we had them, then we wouldn't be looking at these things as chores, because that's how we look at it sometimes. This I got to go here, I got to go there, I got to do this, I got to do that. There's so many responsibilities in Yiddishkeit, of mitzvahs that we have to do, and he sort of just totally changes the paradigm. I mean, this is a burden. I mean, doing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do, fulfilling the greatest mandate that you can ever imagine. It's not a king's desire; it's God's desire. So these are things that really would bring us tremendous focus and energy into our mitzvahs. Kamosha Omar David HaMelech Alav Shalom Shekdamti as Dvarav Le'el B'Psichos Hashar Hazeh. As David HaMelech said, and he quoted these words earlier in the beginning of this gate, of this chapter. Chishafti Dorchai, I thought about my ways. V'shiva Raglai Alei Dosecha, but my feet, my legs always took me back to your statutes. Chashti, I hasten vos mamoti lishma mitzvasecha. I move quickly. I did not delay in observing your commandments. So that's what happens when we have the proper thought. It infuses us. It energizes us. It gets us, ready to go, and we're doing things with a whole different sense of purpose. Okay, this is 9. So 9 down, 21 to go. So we're almost there. Okay. But like each one is like a whole world unto itself. It's like a whole world of, thought and analysis of, what we do and how we do it and what we should be thinking about. So it's amazing that there are 21 more that we have to actually go through. It's like, it's almost mind-boggling. Okay, so what's number 10? The 10th avenue, the 10th angle of aspect of Avodas Hashem is to make the calculation on every Jew. To focus on HaKadosh Baruch Hu looking at us. Right? This is sort of a fundamental mission that we have in Pirkei Avos. That if you constantly recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking at you, both the inside and the outside. Shel roa oso, that he sees each person, v'zocher es kol ma'asav, and remembers all of his actions. There's kol ha'machshavos overs b'libo, and all the thoughts that go through his heart and through his mind. Gamas hatovas, gamas haros, the good and the bad. Okay, so this is something that we have to think about. We had a wonderful workshop at the Valley Torah Girls last night, and one of the speakers made a PowerPoint about the incredible level of what these sites know about you based on technology. That they literally keep track of every single thing that you do, and with the phone that you live your life with this phone. Through that phone, they know everything. I mean, it was mind-boggling. But the point is that it shouldn't be hard for us to appreciate that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows every detail. When Google, and Facebook and all these companies know every detail, it's like the Chavetz Chaim said, why did the movie camera get developed? Why was there a movie camera in the world? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu see fit that whatever it was in the late 1800s, 1900s, the advent of the movie camera? Is because if we have trouble appreciating that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees what we do, now we have the movie camera that can show us. Well, you can see how it can be seen. This is your life. We get up to after 120 years, and then the video begins, and we start looking at the bar mitzvah, the bas mitzvah, and on. So when you think about the all-pervasive level of knowledge that exists on a physical level, you extrapolate that over to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it shouldn't be that hard to appreciate and to think He knows everything about me, every possible detail. The shifachim and the tamas that we should always be concerned. Vishtadil letaken es chitzoniuso v'espinimiuso shubetem l'rotzel l'kim izbarach. So that I should, the more you think about it, Asher Adam Afachet Tamid, says the pasuk, okay, that if we are concerned, we are afraid, it's not the right necessarily, it's not really about being afraid in a negative, neurotic way, but being concerned, making sure that we're doing the right thing, to question and to always analyze what it is that we're doing. So to keep this in our minds at all times. This is essentially Yirah Shamayim. The awareness that God is watching us, and both internally and externally. And make yourself this particular calculation. Just imagine for yourself. If you had a guy, literally the camera was on you. Everywhere you went, right, there was somebody put a private eye on you, and no matter where you went, you knew he was following you around and he had everything recorded. Now, would it be proper for you to do something inappropriate when you know it's going to be going down on, and being seen? Would you do something repulsive if he's going to be aware of it? Certainly, if that person is a person I like, and a person who's done me a lot of good, now am I going to now do something completely disrespectful to him, and something that he would be upset about? Wouldn't make any sense. I mean, it's nice that he's watching me, right? I guess, the girls were saying that, in the girls' school today, that you can have these apps where the parents can really track literally everywhere you are. No matter where you go, they know, so that's an act of love, right? So, so would I nafka show my parents something that's really very, very bad that I'm doing when I know they're watching, and they know they're watching because they love me, and I have such a curse tov to them. So would I do something that would be inappropriate? Of course not. So people are watching, people that I love are watching, I'm going to act accordingly. And certainly if that person watching was a master who had total control over you, how much more so then it would be true if the one that's watching and looking at you is your creator. How much would there be an obligation to be embarrassed, to be shamed in front of God? To be concerned not to rebel against Him. To have alacrity to do the service properly. And to really do whatever one can do. Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to be happy with this? Is he going to be tzufrieden with this? Is he going to be satisfied with me, or is he going to be upset at me? Okay, and if we had that sense of clarity and awareness at all times, that would totally change our lives. It would definitely completely change the way we would sort of think about our decisions and what we do. And furthermore, calculate for yourself, he says, already you do it, Sleinu. It is well known by Yashanu Miskashtim B'Mabushim Achitov V'Meitav Yecholteinu. Okay, maybe the women can relate to this more than the men, but people tend to really get dressed up nicely to look good. Okay, you wear your nice jewelry, you put on your fine suits, to the best of our ability. We go out to a fancy, we're at the royal wedding, with kings and queens, where you have this fancy reception. You're invited to the Hanukkah reception at the White House. So you're not going to show up in a t-shirt and jeans. You're going to go, with your, absolute finest fineries and the beautiful outfits. Commotion. Right? What did the pasuk say in Tainus Esther? You can't go to the king in sackcloth. Okay, Mordechai is not looking good. He can't just go in there in front of the king with looking downtrodden the way he was. Avishach Paro, right? This is very parsha. How appropriate. Okay, Avishach Paro v'yikra es Yosef v'yirtzu min abor v'galach v'chalev samos. So what did they do when they brought up Yosef to face the king? They gave him a haircut, put on nice clothing, get yourself a nice suit. You got to look like a mensch. Okay, so that's what you do when you're facing royalty. V'im kain, and if that's how you're facing physical royalty of limited means, okay, human beings that are here now and in a blink of an eye are gone. So at least we should get as finely adorned in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our external and our internal manifestations of our service to God. Because he's constantly looking equally at the outside and on the inside. So it's not just about getting the outside looking okay, you got to get the inside looking okay, which means the thought needs to be there, the heart needs to be there. It's all got to merge together properly. So, but this only can happen if we're constantly aware that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here looking and analyzing our actions. If, let's say, we would know that these royal people that I'm coming to the dinner for would be able to not only see our outside, but see our inside. Okay? Luckily, they only can see our, but let's say they knew what's beneath the surface. So then, right away, then we'd be very careful to check what's beneath the surface, that it should be appropriate. Okay, we'd make sure that what's underneath the suit also is properly, is finally, made up as possible. It should be respectful. It should be nice and clean. But to the extent that we want them to find favor, we will dress in that way. So if a physical being would be aware of what's beneath the surface, it would change our mentality. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for sure, should change our mentality to be concerned about not only what's on the outside, but also what's on the inside. Halohin charo. So you can see very clearly. Kirov b'nei adam hamishtadlim lilmod es hachachmas v'lamed osan. Most people who struggle, who work very hard to learn different specialties and wisdoms of different types of subjects, and to teach them, they become professors, they become wise sages. For the most part, why do people spend so much time mastering different subjects? So he's speaking in those times, of course, and it's probably true at some level today as well. We hear a lot about professors in the college campuses and stuff. So when the world used to revolve around kings, the wiser you are and the more astute you are about certain subjects, the more power you had. The king would call you in, and you'd be able to raise your stature in front of the king. And the other people who learn the laws and the different nuances of the king, their goal is, I want the king to like me. So I got to know what he wants. I got to know what he doesn't want. I have to know the rules. What's legal, what's not legal. Because the entire nation is commanded to do them, and therefore I'll be in a position to advise the king whether this broke the law, didn't break the law, fits with what the king wants, doesn't fit what the king wants. Okay, sort of like the Supreme Court. And if that's the case, how much more so is it fitting for us And is it incumbent upon us to beautify ourselves in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our service to Hashem? In our insides, in our hearts, in our limbs. Because he's constantly looking at them. He's always seeing them. Just because he's looking at one Jew, in the Ukraine and another Jew in Eretz Yisrael, doesn't prevent him from looking at a Jew in Los Angeles and millions of Jews throughout the world. There's no limit to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's focus. He doesn't have, limited abilities to spread that level of oversight. I am God who looks into hearts and is able to sort of test the loins, the kidneys, so to speak, your inner feelings. And furthermore, it says, Hashem sees the good and the bad all over. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's eyes are able to go all over. And regarding the level of fear and trepidation that a person should feel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's watching us, he's over us, he's seeing us. The pasuk says, "Al teval al picha," don't be quick to talk. V'libcha yamar lo tzig davar, and let your heart not be too hasty to express words of the Elokim in front of God. Make sure you talk with, be very deliberate. Make sure you're thought out. Ki Elokim b'shamayim v'at ha'aretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in the heavens and you're on the ground, and what you say matters. V'nemar Hashem mishamayim hishkef al bnei adam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks down on all people from Shemayim. Shom pachadu pachad. There they shake, they tremble. And therefore, if we're always thinking about this, we're always making this calculation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will find him together in his inside. There'll be a connection there. We hear Saboris Baruch be'ein sichloi. He'll be able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his through his seichel. He'll sense him. He'll be able to sort of feel him. There'll be a sense of constant trepidation of being concerned about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you're almost so, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will exalt him. If he's bonim b'maisav v'yachkos pa'olav b'anogas b'rov. I guess maybe it could be read two ways, but maybe it means the other way. Just right now, he's focusing more on the person vis-a-vis HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it means that this person will exalt Hashem. He's bonim b'maisav v'yachkor es pa'olav b'anogas b'rov, and he'll look into his actions and examine all of what he does. Hamidim al gudlasav v'musav v'chachmasav v'yicholto. And he will make sure that everything that he does will ultimately testify to the greatness and the exalted state and the wisdom and the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is what a person is supposed to do and supposed to think about. And this is the kind of constant focus. We have one more paragraph, let's just finish up, because there's really an incredible last few lines to this number 10, this idea of this constant thought process of bringing HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our thoughts in terms of his awareness and is watching over us. And let's just this is really amazing. When a person does this constantly, if we're able to do this and really, again, these are things people spend lifetimes on and maybe don't get to it, but it's our goal to have this kind of constant awareness. When we can do this on the right level, with the right level of focus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will remove all sadness. There'll be no more there's no more angst about, oh my gosh, am I doing anything wrong? The gates of God's knowledge will be opened up to this individual. And the person will be revealed to the secrets of his wisdom. The person will focus on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ways and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's the way he conducts himself. He will not allow himself to in any way conduct himself in a way that's weak and that's in any way deficient in serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kamo Shema Mizbar Shemro, Kamo Shema B'Mizbar, the famous capital Yud Gimel, Shemroi Lo Echsar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is my shepherd, I shall not want. From the beginning of that, chapter 23, Chav Gimel, not Yud Gimel, Chav Gimel, from the beginning of the Mizmor till the end. This particular element, this particular avenue will bring a person to the highest levels of stature, of spirituality, of the highest levels of the Hasidim, of the saintly people. Even greater than the tzaddikim. He'll be able to see without eyes. He'll be able to hear without ears. He'll be able to speak without a tongue. He'll be able to sense things, and this is sort of that Ruach HaKodesh, or that special sense that special people have. This is where it comes from. It comes from being uniquely connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. He will be able to feel things without any of the typical senses. The person will be able to understand things without coming to visual aids and to proofs. There'll be nothing that he does that'll be negative and repulsive. That person will not want nothing else other than to be in the situation that Kadosh Baruch Hu puts him in, that Kadosh Baruch Hu has chosen for him in that person's present state. If that's where I am, Shosli Kotzarki, whatever I need is what I have and what I want, and whatever I want is whatever I have is what I need, and whatever I need is what I have. The atimis ritzono or ritzona bori, the person will completely be in sync with the Ratzon Hashem, and his love will be completely committed to the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To the extent that the only thing you'll love is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves. The amos love what's repulsive to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is repulsive to me. Well, Adam Cheshbon Nefesh, that Talmud, if a person makes his calculation consistently, Amashal Melech HaChacham, says the great King Solomon, Ashrei Adam Shameali, fortunate is a man who listens to me, Lishkoid Al Dalsai Yom Yom, to be at my gates and my doors on a daily basis, to focus on coming close to me. Kimotzai Motzah Chaim, those who find me will find life. Yafik Ritzon Hashem, and it will bring about in a happiness and a acceptance of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this is literally what a person could achieve if they are totally in sync in their thinking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bez Hashem, we'll be able to get there. Okay, shkoyach.